By calling this a Jay's biggest payday, Joshua's team is basically sounding the alarm on how dangerous this matchup really is. Eddie Hearn didn't sugarcoat a thing. He straight up told Jake Paul to understand the threat, warning that one cliff shot from Joshua could be catastrophic. And former pro Moses Atama echoed the same message, saying Paul is stepping into a situation where real injuries are on the table.
Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua. Really, in my view, it's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area level fighter, a British area level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves.
But even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glitz of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
There shouldn't be.
There's absolutely no price.
Agree with you.
Jake Paul stepping into a ring with Anthony Joshua isn't just a gamble, it's a potential health hazard. Analysts like Ariel Helwani are waving the red flag, saying Joshua's brutal knockout power and veteran experience could leave Paul seriously damaged. According to them, we're not just talking about losing a fight, we're talking about real danger.
Been beaten 3 times. The 4 fighters that he beat didn't come to win. So he's not in his prime, is he? He's literally at the end of his career, pretty much finished. And this is why taking this fight with you is telling you all you need to know. It's a cash out. He might as well just cream as much money as he can at the end of his career, fighting an absolute joke shop in clown world. When I beat Anthony Joshua, he says, every doubt disappears. Come on. I mean, if this is a straight up AJ versus Jake Paul, then we all know what should happen. This is a 1-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury, for crying out loud. He can't jump in with Anthony Joshua now and expect...
Rising heavyweight Moses Atama even urged Paul to think about his long-term health before chasing the bag, warning that one misread punch could change his life forever. Meanwhile, Amir Khan didn't hold back at all. He said Joshua could hurt Paul badly, even hinting at possible brain damage.
Spark him out in like 2 rounds. Really? Yeah, why do you look surprised when I
don't. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Come on, bro, you're fighting like one of the best heavyweight fighters in the world against a YouTuber. Like, come on. Like, respect the sport of boxing. And if AJ has to go in there and show these influencers that, listen, you can't fuck about with boxing. You know what I mean? Someone's going to get hurt badly, and this could be one of the first fights where a fighter gets hurt badly, because if you look at the size difference and the power difference, I mean, bro, there could be brain damages going on there. I mean, AJ could hurt him badly, you know.
Well, when you look at Francis Ngannou, who's one of the most fearsome combat stars there is. I know it's MMA, but we saw what AJ did to Ngannou. So,
and that's why you can't be surprised if AJ is going to do the same to what's it called again?
For Anthony Joshua, this fight isn't just a cash grab, it's about defending what's left of his legacy. Experts like Johnny Nelson say AJ is stuck in a no-win situation. If he doesn't dominate Jake Paul, people will call him a businessman instead of a top-tier fighter. Struggle for even a moment, and his reputation takes a hit.
Do you believe it because AJ is involved? And I think AJ would struggle to he's going to take enough flack over this, but again, it's money talk. So I think AJ will struggle because it's an all-win situation. If he goes in there and Jake Paul lasts the distance, what does he tell you about AJ? Apart from he's just earned an extra 15 million quid. If he goes there and struggles with Jake Paul, then what do you say about AJ? Your heydays are well and truly over. If he goes in there and knocks him out, then I'll say that's to be expected. So the glory, there's probably not much glory in it, apart from the haters of Jake Paul to say, right, I've got rid of this kid. I think it's very brave of Jake Paul. So now the problem child has got us to believe this fight's actually happening. So now you've got our attention. So now you've got to back up the boast. It's not about, you're not playing tiddlywink. This is the only game you can't play. You can play football.
At Tijani Nelson dropped a blunt assessment of Jake Paul's boxing status. He called Paul a marketing genius, but made it clear he doesn't view him as elite. In Nelson's eyes, Paul fights like a decent domestic-level boxer, but earns like a world champion without climbing the traditional ladder. He didn't grow up in sweaty gyms or grind through amateur circuits. He grew online first. Nelson says Paul has mastered monetizing the sport, but when it comes to high-skill competition, he isn't convinced Jake belongs top.
He's going to be 35 years of age. It's crazy what I'm about to ask you, but can Jake Paul really beat Anthony Joshua?
All right, listen, I give all credit. Everyone knows that. They get mad at me that I gave too much credit to Paul. Why? He's done a hell of a job to put himself in this position. He sold himself. He sold his dream. He took his dream. He took his idea. And he put it out there, and he made it happen. Give him credit for that. And he made it happen. And he took risk along the way. Yeah, he picked his spots. He's in the driver's seat. He gets to pick his spots. He's the one bringing the money. He's the one promoting. Yeah, he's the name. He made himself that, coming from where he came from, with all his followers and the whole thing, and just the uniqueness of what he was doing. But he has learned along the way. He's not a top guy yet. No, I don't know that he ever will be. He didn't have that amateur background and the things that you usually need to be a top guy. But he has improved. He is a work in progress. He is a guy that you got to give him credit.
Former champ Carl Froch agrees, arguing that even entertaining this fight could damage AJ's image, hinting that Joshua might be drifting away from Hall of Fame greatness. At the same time, AJ says his real legacy isn't belts or fame, it's walking away from boxing with his health intact.
But to what detriment to his legacy? A lot, really, because if this is going to be his last fighting this clown show, I mean, it's not ideal, is it? It's no ideal way to go out, but people would argue, well, he's just taking the money and running. So you can't really argue with that. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fire. I had to get my opinion out there because I know you've all been waiting for it. It's a shame, really. I'd like to see Anthony Joshua, actually, even though I don't believe he can do it. But when Eddie Hearn tells us that AJ is going to become a 3-time world champ, it'd be nice to see the rebuilding process and get back behind him. 1 or 2 easy fights and then go for a world title. And this could be one of the 2 easy fights. But I just think if you're going to jump in with fake Paul at this level, which is like I say, arguably a massive mismatch. It's no way to step towards or climb a ladder to get towards that world title. So this, for me, tells me that Anthony Joshua knows he's finished at any sort of elite level or world level. He won't be trying to go down the world title level anymore. This is just a cash out. So good luck to him, fair play to him, but hopefully when he's finished this fight, he'll be honest with us and say, listen, I've milked it, I've creamed it, I've had an unbelievable touch at the end of my career. I mean, he's already had an outrageous touch, hasn't he, with the involvement of Saudi Arabia, and now he's just creaming it at the end. He's got fake Paul, which is massive. Great for AJ, fair play to him. Anybody would do the same at the end of the career he's had. You know, he's not an elite heavyweight.
Jake Paul, on the other hand, believes the stars are aligning for him to shock the world. On his podcast, he blasted Joshua's recent performances, saying AJ has no chin, stiff movement, and fading skills. Paul thinks Joshua's knockout loss to Daniel Dubois exposed major weaknesses, and that his own unpredictable style and confidence give him a real chance to pull off what many see as an impossible upset.
Jake Paul doing this? Well, I think it's because he genuinely believes there is a chance he can win this. I think he's calculated everything about Anthony Joshua's circumstances and he's gone, yeah, I actually think I can do this. I can leapfrog so many years of having to build and go through the ranks and do all that stuff by being a shop-worn Anthony Joshua. And what are the factors in Jake Paul believing this? Well, it would be firstly that AJ received a loss in his most recent fight. Anthony Joshua's not been in the ring since September 2024, so over a year by the time him and Jake Paul get in the ring together. It will have been around 15 months. It was the manner of Joshua's loss where he looked terrible. He looked like a fighter that was well past his best. His timing wasn't there. He even looked a little bit chinny, dare I say. I mean, I still think he's got a good chin. The shot he took from Dubois was absolutely massive and would have knocked down many heavyweights. And he showed decent powers of recovery to get up and and struggle through for as long as he did before his over-aggression and miscalculation with the type of shots he was using got him knocked out by Dubois. But if you're deluded enough like Jake Paul, then perhaps you look at that and go, he landed a massive right hand on Joshua's chin. Why can't I do the same? I believe myself to be a very big puncher. And it's that old saying, isn't it? You know, you shoot for the stars, you might at least land on the moon. And I think that's kind of why Jake Paul's maybe got to where he is in life, because he does have too much self-confidence. He does believe.
Jake Paul says this fight is his moment to silence every hater who claims he only picks on small, washed-up fighters. By targeting Anthony Joshua, a real heavyweight and former unified champion, Paul believes he's proving he belongs in the big leagues. In his words, once he beats Joshua, all doubts vanish. No one can deny me.
Boxer. They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed...
Teddy Atlas has a cautiously curious view of the matchup. He admits the skill gap is massive and warns this could be way too much for Paul, but he doesn't dismiss the idea completely. Atlas points to Joshua's recent knockout loss and long break from the ring, suggesting AJ might still be battling some mental ghosts. Even though Joshua is clearly the stronger, sharper puncher, Atlas wants to see which version of AJ shows up.
Said all of that. This might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I'm also, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down. When I say that with the understanding, too, that Joshua's coming off being knocked out. Joshua hasn't fought for a year, right? But it's about a year. And there's some ghost in his attic. There are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's gotten rid of some of them, but I know that in the position of a fighter coming where he's coming from, there are ghosts in your attic. I don't know if those ghosts are still taking up space. I don't know if maybe there could be no better exorcism for those ghosts than fighting a Jake Paul. That might be just the exorcism you need to clear out the attic. I don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. That's the mystery part of this. That's what makes it so. It makes it two things at once: intriguing and.
Atlas also made it clear that, while he respects Jake Paul's work ethic and business hustle, he doesn't think Paul will ever reach world-class status. He says Paul is improving and has treated boxing with respect, but he's still limited. In Atlas's view, Paul is a sharp promoter more than an elite fighter, and he won't be able to just walk in and beat top competition.
That does it for this week's recaps and previews. I want to throw one more thing at you. And that's the news. It's been out there for about a month or so, and it's picking up more steam. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. Now, Eddie Hearn came out this week most recently and said, I never thought I would say this, but right now, the front runner for this fight is Jake Paul for Anthony Joshua's ring return. Joshua coming up almost on a year in September since his KO loss to Daniel Dubois. He's going to be 35 years of age. It's crazy what I'm about to ask you, but can Jake Paul really beat Anthony Joshua?
All right, listen, I give all credit. Everyone knows that. They get mad at me that I gave too much credit to Paul. Why? He's done a hell of a job to put himself in this position. He sold himself. He sold his dream. He took his dream. He took his idea. And he put it out there, and he made it happen. Give him credit for that. And he made it happen. And he took risk along the way. Yeah, he picked his spots. He's in the driver's seat. He gets to pick his spots. He's the one bringing the money. He's the one promoting. Yeah, he's the name. He made himself that, coming from where he came from, with all his followers and the whole thing, and just the uniqueness of what he was doing. But he has learned along the way. He's not a top guy yet. No, I don't know that he ever will be. He didn't have that amateur background and the things that you usually need to be a top guy. But he has improved. He has he is a work in progress. He is a guy that you got to give him credit that he's respected.
Boxing commentator Aid Oladipo didn't bother sugarcoating anything. If this fight happens, he believes Joshua ends it instantly, maybe within 30 seconds. Oladipo says Paul's confidence doesn't match the reality of facing a former heavyweight king. He does credit Paul for having the guts to step up, but he still predicts an AJ demolition. Meanwhile, Jake Paul has thrown out a jaw-dropping estimate, claiming the fight could generate around $267 million, with rumors of both fighters pocketing about $92 million each. Paul's post has sparked talk that the total earnings from streaming PPV and global rights could be even higher. If true, this wouldn't just be a fight, it'd be one of the richest events in boxing history.
Jake Paul. Jab.
AJ.
Defense.
AJ.
Chin.
AJ.
Footwork.
AJ.
Boxing IQ.
AJ.
Personality.
If Jake Paul gets destroyed by Anthony Joshua, it could seriously damage his star power. Right now, Paul is one of the few crossover fighters who guarantees blockbuster PPV sales because of his massive online following. But if he gets flattened by a real heavyweight, critics will have a field day, calling him fragile, overrated, and exposed. Even casual fans might tune out, writing him off as a YouTuber pretending to box Eddie Hearn. Himself warned that a bad loss could be the beginning of the end for Paul's boxing brand. In the end, the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua showdown isn't just a fight, it's a high-risk, high-reward spectacle that Paul sees it as his shot at earning real boxing respect. But many believe he's walking into a dangerous mismatch. Critics worry about his safety, pointing to the huge gaps in size, strength, and experience. For Joshua, the motivation looks mostly financial, and while it could be his biggest payday ever, any struggle could damage his legacy.
That's serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British